Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today on this wonderful April day. Please remember, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that chime and bell. Don't forget. Anyways, we have grown quite a bit in the last couple weeks here, so I have to thank you, all my old subscribers, new and soon to be subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. Without that, there would be no channel, I guess. Anyways, with all that said, I'm going to take you along with me. We're going to do a pasture check. We're going to check all the different pastures. I'm going to tell you where the animals are going and why. We broke our areas into, I believe, the sheep, heifers. We have two sets of like older cattle. So, and then we have ones that stay back here. So we like to keep them in small groups, easier to take care of, easier to keep an eye on, less competition, less chance of disease. We have never had a disease problem out here. We don't want one. So it's been pretty cold out here. Hit minus 20 with the wind chill last night. I guess it's not really good. It kind of stunts the growth of all the plants, alfalfa roots, etc. But for coccidiosis, that bad bacteria that makes the calves scour and the cows sick and the calves, it broke that cycle. The hard frost breaks that cycle of bad bacteria. So that's all good. But anyways, let's go for a rip and I'll show you around. Well, here we are. I guess the first little pasture area we have here. This is going to be the sheep summer area. So the sheep summer area, they're let in back there where their paddock is, and they have access to the whole east section there. We also open this up after about 2-3 weeks out there. There's a runway, and they're brought out to here. So this is the bigger section. This usually keeps them pretty busy for a while. They come back every night. The dogs come out with them. It's not too hairy out here in terms of danger for the sheep or the smaller animals, but they have this access to this whole area. They seem to do very well out here. Canadian geese can't wait for this ice to be gone. Poor guys have been walking on the ice for 4 or 5 days. So the sheep come here, which I was pointing out to you a few minutes ago. They come out here and they're locked into this area first. So they have access to not the first set of posts, but the second. So few acres here. Not the best grass. We start them off out here. It's not too rich or anything. They're not going to get bloat or any of that bad stuff. See, we kind of have a runway down here. And then we open that up and we have a creek here. This actually drains all the water from the farm area, the corral area. And it drains out here into the swamp. So I built a little bridge here. And works out well. They cross it, and I had to put this up. Why did I have to put this up? Well, basically speaking, I was sick of pulling sheep out of here that are not very good at swimming. As if you know sheep, they get very excited. They run, they push each other, and guys fall off. I also put a lip here. Right under there, there's a board. And I put that for if they do fall in, they're not going to get stuck underneath here. Just when you have sheep, you figure this stuff out. So the second area we're going to is going to be for the heifers. So basically the girls that are right here that we're looking at, we walk them right down the road, and I'll show you where they end up. This is the start of the heifers area. We don't bring them in here though. We walk them right down the road. You'll often see them having a stare off with the sheep across the way, wondering what the heck they are, why they're in that area and not them. This is where the heifers are brought in, to this nice little area here. And they have access to all this bushed in area. If the weather's not too nice, this usually stays high and dry. Swamp, so that's where they drink. The swamp has springs throughout it, never dries up. It's always fresh, clean water. We never have to worry about algae, blue algae or anything like that. Blue algae can make animals quite sick. We never have that issue really out here. So this is the heifers' driveway where they enter, exit, spring and fall. And this is where the cows enter their pastures. So you can see there's a road separating them. And on the other side, this is where the marsh, swamps, and the springs start. So all the cows will be out here. And this goes on east a couple miles. So there's lots of land. They roam this all summer. We actually have a gate about a mile down, and the gate separates the east and the west side all the way to the marsh. So we open that up, and then they have another mile to roam. So they often go for water down over here on this side, but deeper into summer we find they venture east more. It's a little bit lower, so the grass grows a little lusher out there. This is a lot of higher pasture ground, so in the dry months, or if we have like a drought condition, they seem to graze it out pretty good. But I'm gonna have to do some fertilizer on this for sure, get the grasses coming back, give them a kickstart, because the last 2 years have been real tough on this this high ground. So a couple sandhill cranes. So basically they come around here, they're let in here. This is where I'll put a couple mineral tubs, salt licks for them. And there's access all the way through here, all around the woods. And right in the middle, it's wet. There's water all the time. Last year was the closest we came to drying up, and it didn't really even dry up right through the middle. So if you look over there, that's where the sheep are going to be, about a quarter mile that way. So they actually can see each other from here. But later in the year, once we open that gate that separates this in half from the east-west side, then they can loop around all the way east and come back up west to the west side, all the way up to this bluff, and then we open that up. After the sheep are out of that area for 3 weeks to a month, we'll let them in there, and that's where they're going to finish off the fall grazing. We even feed them up a little bit by those spruces in the fall if it's still nice out and there's access to water. So it's a little idea of how we move our animals around and where and why. I'm just going to take you on a quick rip down east. I'm going to show you where they're basically stopped with the fence, where their pasture grazing area ends. This is basically as far south as the cattle can go on their pasture area. This is the mile road, the next mile road. So they're going to stop right there. Here's that middle fence I was talking about that separates the east and the west side. So yeah, we'll open that up, and then they're going to come in through here. This is their cutoff. Yep. We basically we hay this field. This is where most of our horse hay comes from. We sell to a couple individuals that buy for horse hay. End of the year, we let the cows in here, so we let them do some fertilizing. So we left them in here for a little while. Kind of curious as to what it'll look like, because it got a little bit of wet later on in the fall and they were in here, but it doesn't look too bad. All in all, it's definitely aerated now. But yeah, they can come into here, they have access, so they have a big area. Our cattle stay out as long as possible. They do the best. They really like it, so it's not really like forcing them. Should knock some of these down, that's for sure. us a letter. We do have some Crown lease land, and they changed the whole process. They said they want to make this government land more accessible to everyone. Get new guys into land that they need or if they want to grow. But with that said, they also changed the rules that people out of province can bid on this land. Corporations, shareholders, and groups. So my question to them was, how does this benefit the average guy? The average guy with just the average amount of cattle, head of cattle or animals, or that wants to make hay or pasture their animals there. They couldn't answer that. They don't have an answer for that. It's basically a way of government getting higher bids on this land and to milk us for every last cent we have, it seems. You know, whenever it goes in a bid system, it's good for whoever is bidding off the land. It's not good for the guy bidding to use the land, because auctions are auctions, right? Especially with land. So I don't know how much I agree with it. They changed the fact of passing it down from generation to generation. They actually said like there is a legacy lease. So luckily my dad transferred me the pieces that he had handed down from his father, and then my grandfather's father handed to him. So apparently it's legacy. The new system is 15 years, but I get the first right of renewal, meaning I get to renew it after 15 years if I decide to. I don't know if I'll be able to pass it on to any of my children if they want to farm, but this is the direction the government took with this Crown land, which is absolutely, I don't know, there's better ways to do it. It just doesn't make sense to me, you know. It in no way encourages new people to get into farming or ranching, and there's no way. It basically goes, the land will go to the highest bidder, whoever's the deepest pockets or the most people involved, shareholders, groups, corporations, whatever. So I don't know. That's how our Crown land in Manitoba out here, how it's changed somewhat. And I don't know. I think it's changed for the better. I guess it depends which side of the the road you're standing on. But I don't know. For us, it's caused a little bit of stress. So we do have a couple quarters affected by this. That I did sign a 15-year, and I guess in 15 years I'm going to be bidding on it against some neighbors or someone out of province, or who knows, right? So that's the way it goes, I guess. But change is change. I don't mind change when it makes sense, but I don't know, it just makes it harder for the average farmer to get by. But that's my rant for the day. Let me know in the comments. I know there's some Americans watching this, maybe, and you know, Canadians, different side of the country. Are you guys affected by these changes? Have you guys had changes? How does your system work their land that they lease or rent? Look at this guy, just giving her. It's going about 30 clicks. Thanks for coming along for a tour of the farm. And until next time, cheers.
Smash your thumbs up.